I'm Dr. Christina Chen, a geriatrician at Mayo Clinic and host of Aging Forward, a podcast highlighting unique topics in geriatric medicine and the science of healthy aging, helping all of us live longer and fuller lives. Whether you're a caregiver for someone or learning how to care for your own health, we're here to help you feel informed, inspired, and empowered. Mayo Clinic's Aging Forward. New episodes every other week, wherever you get your podcasts.
Paranormal experiences don't really work to a timescale, and therefore we invite you to listen to a Dark Minisode. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another pre-Friday teaser of the paranormal in the shape of a Dark Minisode. Now, Friday's episode will be our 7th episode of the season, meaning after Friday, we only have 3 episodes left of this very season. And as always, now is the perfect time for you to send in your experiences. And as was proven with one of our Patreons this week, somebody put on the end of an email, maybe you could use this for your next season. But we used it on Sunday gone. Because if the right experience, as ever, lands in our inbox, we use it when we feel you guys would want to hear it. And personally, I cannot hold a secret if I think it's amazing and people want to know. However, do send in your true personal paranormal experiences to the link in the show notes, or go direct to contact@thedarkparanormal.com, and we will find a space for whatever you send in, be it on a main show, on a Dark Minisode, or even for Dark Bites for our patrons. And speaking of patrons, this show would not exist without them, so I thank each and every one of them as much as humanly possible. But if you would like to become one of our wonderful Patreon community, simply head to the link in the show notes. We're giving away a free week trial at our highest tier, which means you will get early ad-free content from the main feed, as well as the Patreon-only podcast Dark Bites, which is out each and every week of the year, without fail, even on the downtime between seasons, and our new video and audio show, After Dark, where I take a much more informal look at some of the ideas that circulate around what we've discussed that week. And we've also just recently launched our Dark Community, which is a series of group chats that our patrons can join in, talk about the shows, talk to each other. We really can't wait to welcome you. So once again, patreon.com/thedarkparanormal. In fact, today's experience is one of 3 that was sent to us by one of our patrons, Samantha. We played the first 2 on Dark Bites this week, and this is the 3rd. So please relax and listen to A Simple Mall After Hours. Hi Kevin, as promised, I've some more stories for you. These ones have all occurred at my places of work. They're not only my stories, but also some of my co-workers' stories too. I have changed the names of everyone who shared their stories with me. Buckle up. This is a long one. I work at a mall. Now, the mall used to be an indoor mall. 2 of my jobs where weird things happened were during the time that the mall was enclosed. The mall has since been torn down and turned into a plaza instead. So, one of my first jobs, when the mall was indoors, was at a novelty and gift shop. We carried an odd assortment of items, from clothing to ceramics, blankets, and at the back of the store, adult entertainment items. You know, gummies in that particular shape. Naughty underwear and gag gifts that lean towards the mildly obscene. We also had gag toys that were motion operated, similar to hula hooping Santas and the like, but for dirty minds. These items would only go off when someone walked past them. Remember, they were motion activated. They were all kept on a top shelf in the far back corner of the store. The door to our back room/office was on the opposite side of the store, Several times I'd come into work first thing in the morning, got to the office door, and suddenly all the motion-activated toys would go off, one by one, as if someone was walking past them and coming towards me. I have never felt so threatened. I always felt like something got a real kick out of our store. Another time I was sweeping the front of the store, and suddenly the glass plate to an oil burner flew past me and crashed into the opposite corner that I'd just finished sweeping. This glass plate had actually came from the far back side of a round shelving unit, so there was no way that I could have accidentally hit the plate. Not to mention that there's absolutely no way I could have hit it in such a way to cause it to go flying across the room. And I was nowhere near that shelving unit at the time. No customers were in store. My co-worker was working on something at the checkout desk, so she had her back to me at the time. It was all very strange indeed. 2 years later, I left that store to work at the store that was across the hall. This was also a gift shop and had quite an assortment of gifts. Our store was like a series of stores within the store. Every section of that store was rented by an independent retailer, and we then sold their items for them. They only would come in to restock their section. So one of these sections was rented by a carpenter, someone who built shelves, coat racks, bedside tables and hutches, as well as other little items. So one morning, I came in, and as I was walking to the back of the store to get to the back room, so I could put my coat and bag away and turn the lights on, as I walked past the carpenter's section, I noticed that one of the hutches was shaking, very noticeably, from side to side. I stopped and said, "Don't break it, or the seller will be very unhappy." That hutch stopped shaking immediately. Other odd things would happen to other co-workers as well. My manager came in one morning to find a row of teddy bears all lined up in front of the staff room door, right at the back. When I came in, she said, "Very funny," thinking me and my co-worker had set them up as a prank the night before. We hadn't. Sadly, the store closed down, and I moved to a shoe store in a different part of the same mall. I was there 7 years and never had a single experience. When the mall was torn down, I started to work at one of the external shops that were built outside and were never attached to the old mall. I still work there today. This store is a large craft store that has a mezzanine in the back room where we keep all our store fixtures, like shelving and things like that. This store is crazy active. I think it may be the same whatever that was in the old mall, as this store was built on the same side as the other 2 stores where I'd worked and had odd events occurring, just outside the original mall. The following stories are just a handful of incidences that have occurred within the last 2 years alone. I've been at this location for 9. The first one that happened was 2 years ago, around March or April. There were 2 of us in at the time. As it was early morning before the store hours, it was myself and one of the managers. I myself was stocking shelves, the manager was counting the float for the counters and getting the general store work done. I'd gone into the break room for a drink. Now the break room is directly below the mezzanine. No one who works here likes the mezz. It has a charged feeling to it. Anyway, I was getting a drink of water when I heard what sounded like the metal shelving being banged around and shifted. Assuming it was the manager pulling out shelving for an end cap or something, I exit the break room to see if they need help. And he comes walking into the back room from the floor. I asked if he'd just been upstairs in the mez. He said he hadn't. He was spooked when I told him what I'd heard. I went upstairs to check, but nothing on that mezzanine was out of place. The next story I have for you happened around May, not long after the previous story. There were 5 of us in the back room at the time. It was truck day, so we were unloading stock off the truck and putting everything onto U-boats to be taken out to the floor. There was an intense thunderstorm occurring at the same time. I was grabbing a box off the belt when I heard the back room door swing open and close. Our back room doors were heavy, swinging doors. Those can't be blown open by a light breeze. Plus, there was no wind coming in as the truck pretty much filled our cargo bay. The manager thought one of the other workers had gone out to the floor, but I told him no. That co-worker was around the corner emptying boxes of a certain product. So we asked her if she saw anything. She said she saw the door swing open and close again. So I go just outside of the doors and look down the aisle towards the front of the store. We had heavy metal plant hangers hanging up on display. One was swinging with quite a bit of force. Every other remained perfectly still. I called my co-worker out to take a look. We looked at each other, and she says, "He's pretty active this morning." I walk down to make sure there's no wind or anything that could be causing this one heavy plant hanger to sway. There was no breeze, and I actually caught video of that hanger moving. My co-worker, I'll call her Lorraine, had her most recent experience actually begin at her own home. Today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you know the 8th of March is International Women's Day, a day to celebrate women everywhere, recognizing just how much they do each and every day. I lost my mother at a young age, which some would say is misfortune, but it got me to know my nan who brought me up as a better person, and the strength she shone through in my sister, who she brought up also, and she's now the strong matriarch of a family of her own. And believe me, the absolute seeming ease that she holds together her family can be so easy to overlook, as we sadly still have that stigma of, well, that's a woman's job, that's what a mother's meant to do, etc. But the emotional well-being of the women in our life can easily be overlooked. And therapy offers a safe space that they can take care of themselves in a way they deserve. And gentlemen, just stop and think about those unseen expectations they wake to daily. Their happiness isn't just a good thing, it's essential. And therapy can help create balance, set healthy boundaries, and support overall well-being for everyone. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the US. A quick questionnaire will help identify your needs and preferences. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. Your emotional well-being matters, so find some support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com. That's betterhelp.com. Today's episode of The Dark Paranormal is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it. So your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Companies and affiliates' potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Do you live for Sunday dinner and that slow-cooked all-day flavor of a pot roast that falls apart with a dull spoon? Thanks to Omaha Steaks, I'm never shy about the proteins when it comes to Sunday dinners at our house. Every steak is aged to perfection to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. Get 50% off the world's best everyday protein. Go to omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their semi-annual sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code YUM at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code YUM at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Go to https://omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide during their semi-annual sale. And use promo code YUM at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply.
Lorraine said she could hear the sound of the wind rustling outside, but when she looked, there was no wind. Nothing. No wind, no rustling trees, but still the sound of wind. She came to work and can feel something around her. So, she was working in one aisle, and suddenly, she hears a loud clanging sound in the very next aisle. She went round to take a check, and she found knitting needles on the floor. Now, these knitting needles are kept in holders. They can't randomly fall out. Later that same day, one of my other co-workers, we'll call her Sherry, was sitting at the framing desk when a shopping cart rolled backwards and turned so that it was facing her. Sherry had her head down and at first thought it was a customer. She heard the distinctive grinding sound that the carts make when one is pulled. Our carts can be quite troublesome to pull out, and you need to use a bit of force to separate the carts from each other. So it's not like one can just randomly roll backwards and then turn around. Lorraine figures her friend who followed her to work must have gotten bored and began looking for entertainment. Another time, Lorraine was standing with other co-workers just outside our receiving doors, the ones that opened by themselves in the previous story, when all of a sudden, she said they all felt it get really cold. Here there are 3 other witnesses, but they no longer work at the store. And something passed through Lorraine with enough force that it pushed her over. Luckily, she was able to grab onto shelving, which kept her from falling to the ground. Last May, I was doing downstocking in the back room. I was standing by our industrial shelving where we keep our larger overstock canvases. This shelving unit is directly across from the stairs that lead to the mezz. I was fighting to get a canvas unstuck from the rest of the canvases when all of a sudden I feel a strong gust of wind barrel down the stairs, through me, almost knocking me over, and out into the store. It was a cold wind, there were no doors open, and it wasn't a windy day. As I previously mentioned, no one likes going up to the mezzanine. Noises have been heard up there, shuffling sounds like the shuffling of feet, banging noises like shelving being moved around. I was up in the mezz with our current replenishment manager, Carly, helping her clean it up and get all the hardware back to the right places. This gets done every year. The mezz is very hot, all the time. It's like all the heat in the store decides to hide up in the mezz. So you can imagine my surprise when I'm standing there talking to Carly, complaining about the heat up there, and suddenly it got very cold around me, as though I was standing directly below a large fan, which I wasn't. It lasted only a few seconds and then was gone. But I like to think that I was being hugged by our friendly neighbourhood ghost. One of our former replenishment managers, I'll call her Ali, would go in every morning at 5 a.m. That's when we do our downstocking for the day. And she would often hear feet shuffling in the next aisle over from her. She'd go and check to see where her co-worker was, because of course there's at least 2 of us doing the downstocking in the morning. But they were always in a completely different part of the store from where she would hear the shuffling. We've also come in only to hear loud bangs, but again when we go to the aisles to look for the bangs, to see where it came from, to see what's fallen, There's nothing on the floor, nothing out of place. Finally, something very peculiar happened this very morning at work. And better still, the replenishment manager, Carly, was also a witness. Carly and I had just finished doing the customer out for the morning, what we were sold out of in particular areas of the store. So we're just standing there talking, and I could hear shuffling and noises down by the loos and the office. I thought nothing of it, as I assumed that one of the other managers had come in early. But then we both heard rustling sounds coming from the floral section. It sounded like someone was picking up the Pampers stems and putting them back into the plastic cones, the ones we used to hold the stems in that aisle. That's when Carly says to me, "No one's supposed to be in till 8. This was 6:45 a.m. So I call out, and there's no answer. So we both take a stroll to aisle 24, where the floral stems are. Nothing. No manager lurking, no stems out of place. I begin lifting stems out and putting them into their cones to see if I could recreate the sound. And when I got to the Pampers stems and did that, we both agreed that was the very sound we heard, which is what I thought I heard in the first place. It was very strange indeed. It didn't feel negative though, more mischievous if anything. I looked at Carly and said, "Well, someone's active this morning." It went quiet again soon after. Most of what we hear are the sounds of shuffling feet or product being moved. I personally have never felt that this is anything negative, but definitely a bit mischievous. Again, you can use my name. People think I'm a bit eccentric anyway, but I've changed my co-worker's name in case they do wish to maintain their privacy. I hope our haunted little store has kept you entertained. It certainly keeps us entertained. If you decide to use this for your next season, please let me know, as I'm sure my co-workers would love to hear it too. Keep up the great work. Much love from Canada, Samantha, and she does give a surname, but out of decency, I'm not going to give it out on air, obviously, because there are, well, some people who aren't so normal out there, sadly. P.S. If you're interested in seeing the video I caught of the plant hanger swinging on its own, please let me know. Well, Sam, I think everyone listening right now knows what my reply is, which is please send that video as soon as you can to contact@thedarkparanormal.com. I would love to see that video, and ironically, or should I say serendipitously, only yesterday on Dark Bites I was talking about how I wanted to start to gather more paranormal evidence after losing some during my teenage years. So I would adore if you could send that through. And also thank you for your submission. The one overriding thing about your submission, which just screams validity, is almost every occurrence comes with a witness. But I do wonder the friend you mentioned named Lorraine, not their real name, when you say their experience began at home. You also say the other people who witnessed things have left, which implied Lorraine still works there with you. And I do wonder, from only this small segment, so it literally is just a guess, what part Lorraine may be playing in this. Because I, like I'm sure many other people, have worked in places that are allegedly haunted. We may have even encountered strange situations. But I've never came home and experienced something strange and believed it was the thing that followed me from work. So maybe, and I'm touching wood as I say this, something's following Lorraine. But that's just a hypothesis. Thank you for this week's minisode, Samantha. And to everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this show. Please remember, if you can't sign up to Patreon to support the show, leave us a nice review somewhere, tell a friend, do all of the free things that actually really help the show grow. And thank you so much for joining me. And so until Friday, please, all of you, stay safe, and take care.
I'm Dr. Christina Chen, a geriatrician at Mayo Clinic and host of Aging Forward, a podcast highlighting unique topics in geriatric medicine and the science of healthy aging, helping all of us live longer and fuller lives. Whether you're a caregiver for someone or learning how to care for your own health, we're here to help you feel informed, inspired, and empowered. Mayo Clinic's Aging Forward. New episodes every other week, wherever you get your podcasts.